Today's story is about two poor children who run away from a cruel stepmother, but a witch's curse turns the brother into a little deer until true love, courage, and justice break the spell. A little boy held his younger sister's hand and said, "Since Mama died, we are never happy. Our stepmother beats us every day. When we go near her, she kicks us away. We only get hard, leftover bread to eat. Even the little dog under the table is treated better. She throws at tasty pieces of food. If only our real mother could see us. Come, let's run away together into the wide world." They walked all day through green fields, rough stones, and empty paths. When it rained, the little sister said, "The sky is crying, and our hearts are crying too." In the evening, they reached a big, dark forest. They were tired, hungry, and sad, so they crawled inside a hollow tree and fell asleep. The next morning, when they woke up, the sun was already high and very hot. The brother said, "Sister, I am so thirsty. I think I hear a small stream. If I find it, I will drink." He took her hand and they went to look for water, but their stepmother was a witch. She had seen them run away and followed them quietly. She put a spell on all the streams in the forest. Soon the children found a little stream jumping over stones. The brother bent down to drink, but the sister heard the water whisper, "Whoever drinks me will become a tiger." The sister cried, "Please, dear brother, don't drink. If you become a tiger, you will turn wild and tear me to pieces." The brother was very thirsty, but he loved his sister, so he did not drink. "I will wait for the next stream," he said. They came to a second stream. The sister heard it say, "Whoever drinks me will become a wolf." Again she begged, "Please, brother, don't drink. If you become a wolf, you will eat me." The brother held back once more and said, "I will wait for the next stream, but then I must drink. My thirst is too strong." At the third stream, the sister heard it say, "Whoever drinks me will become a roebuck, a small deer." She cried, "Oh, please don't drink. If you become a deer, you will run away and leave me alone." But this time the brother could not wait. He knelt down and drank. The first drops touched his lips, and, in a moment, he turned into a young roebuck, a little deer. The sister hugged the crying roebuck and cried with him. At last she said, "Hush, my dear little deer. I will never, ever leave you." She took off her golden garter and tied it around his neck like a collar. Then she made a soft rope from long grass and rushes, tied it gently to him, and led him deeper into the forest. After walking a long way, they found a tiny empty house. The girl looked inside and thought, "We can live here." She gathered leaves and moss to make a soft bed for her brother the deer. Every morning she went out to pick roots, berries, and nuts for herself, and fresh grass for the roebuck. He ate from her hand, played around her, and was happy. At night, after she said her prayers, she lay down and rested her head on the deer's neck like a pillow and slept softly. If only her brother was human again, their life would have been perfect. They lived alone like this for some time. One day the king of that land came to hunt in the forest. Horns blew, dogs barked, and hunters shouted. The little deer heard the sounds and became very excited. "Sister," he said, "please let me go to the hunt. I cannot stay here. I want to run and jump." He begged so much that at last she agreed. "But you must come back every evening," she said. I will lock the door because I'm afraid of the rough hunters. You must knock and say, 'My little sister, let me in.' If you don't say those exact words, I won't open the door." The roebuck was full of joy and ran into the forest. The king and his hunters soon saw the beautiful little deer with a golden collar. They chased him, but he was too fast. Every time they thought they had him, he leaped into the bushes and disappeared. When night came and it was dark, the roebuck went to the little house, knocked and said, "My little sister, let me in." She opened the door. He jumped in happily and slept all night on his soft bed. The next day, the hunt began again. The deer heard the horn and the shouting and could not stay still. "Sister, let me out. I must go," he said. She opened the door and reminded him, "Come back in the evening and don't forget the secret words." Again the king and the hunters chased the roebuck with the golden collar. All day they ran after him. At last, in the evening, one hunter shot an arrow that only scratched his foot. He limped and ran slower. The hunter followed him quietly and saw him reach the little house. He heard the deer say, "My little sister, let me in," watched the door open and close, and remembered everything. He went back and told the king. The sister was scared when she saw her dear brother hurt. She washed the blood away, put healing herbs on the wound, and said, "Go to bed. Dear roebuck can get well." The wound was small, so by morning the deer felt fine again. When he heard the horn and the hunters outside once more, he cried, "I cannot stay. I must go. They will not catch me easily." The sister wept, "If you go again, they will kill you. Then I will be alone in the forest with no one in the world. I don't want to let you out." But the roebuck answered, "If you keep me here, I will die of sadness. When I hear the horns, I feel I will jump out of my skin." At last, with a heavy heart, the sister opened the door and let him go. The king saw the roebuck again and said to his hunters, "Chase him all day, but do not hurt him." When the sun went down, the king told the hunter, "Now show me the little house in the woods." They went there, and the king knocked and called, "Dear little sister, let me in." The girl thought it was her brother and opened the door. But instead of a small deer, a man in rich clothes and a golden crown stood before her. The maiden was terrified to see a stranger instead of her roebuck. But the king looked kind and held out his hand. "Will you come with me to my palace and be my dear wife?" he asked. "Yes," she said softly, "but my little roebuck must come too. I cannot leave him." The king agreed. "He will stay with you all your life and will want for nothing." Right then, the deer ran into the house. The sister tied him with a soft rope, held it in her hand, and went away with the king. He placed the beautiful girl on his horse and took her to his palace. They had a grand wedding, and she became queen. The roebuck lived in the palace gardens, loved and well cared for. The wicked stepmother, who had caused all their suffering, thought the girl had been eaten by wild animals and the boy had been shot as a deer. When she heard that they were alive, happy and rich, her heart filled with jealousy and hate. Her ugly one-eyed daughter also complained, "I should have become the queen." "Be quiet," said the old witch. "When the right time comes, I will act." Later, the young queen had a beautiful baby boy, but the king was away hunting. The old witch changed herself to look like a servant and went to the queen. "Your bath is ready," she said sweetly. It will help you and give you strength. Come quickly before it gets cold." Her own daughter waited nearby. They carried the weak queen into the bathroom. There, the witch had made a deadly hot fire. The room was so full of heat and steam that the young queen soon could not breathe and died. Then the old woman put her daughter in the queen's bed, gave her the queen's shape and look, and put a nightcap on her head. She could not fix the missing eye, so the girl had to lie always on that side, so the king would not see. When the king came home and learned that he had a son, he was full of joy. He went to see his wife, but the old witch cried, "Do not open the curtains. The queen must stay in the dark and rest." The king believed her, and did not see that a false queen lay in the bed at midnight, when everyone slept. Only the nurse near the baby's cradle was awake. Suddenly the door opened, and the true queen walked in. She took the baby, held him in her arms, and fed him. Then she fluffed his little pillow, laid him down, and covered him. She went to the corner where the roebuck slept, gently stroked his back, and then quietly left the room. In the morning the nurse asked the guards if anyone had come into the palace at night, but they all said, "No, this happened many nights." The queen always came in silence, cared for her child and the deer, and left again. The nurse saw her, but was too afraid to tell anyone. After some time, the queen spoke in the night and said, "How is my child? How is my dear? 2 more times I'll come, then I'll disappear." The nurse still said nothing, but when the queen left, she went to the king and told him everything. The king said, "Tomorrow night I will watch my child myself." That night he went to the nursery and hid. At midnight, the queen came again and said, "How is my child? How is my dear? Once more I'll come, then I'll disappear." She fed the baby and stroked the roebuck, then vanished. The king was too shocked to speak, but he believed the nurse. On the 3rd night, he watched again. The queen came and said, "How is my child? How is my dear? This time I come, then I'll disappear." The king could not stay silent. He rushed to her and cried, "You are my dear wife." "Yes, I am your wife," she answered. At that moment, life returned to her fully. She became fresh, healthy, and rosy again. She told the king everything the witch and her daughter had done. The king had them brought before the judge, and they were punished. The ugly daughter was taken into the forest, where wild beasts tore her apart. The witch was thrown into a fire and burned. As soon as she died, the spell broke. The roebuck became a human boy again. The brother, the sister queen, and the little prince then lived together in happiness and peace for the rest of their lives.